Hello, it's me again, Oti from Oti's Cucina. Happy 2020. Now that I'm done with my moments of joy, let's come back to the basics, right? Today we're going to be making rice and beans. I normally say that rice and beans is the best combination ever, but today's rice and beans has a Cuban twist because we're going to Cuba and we're going to be making Congri. Congri is basically, the Cuban version of rice and beans. And what are the things that we'll need for this? Obviously, you need your rice and your beans. But I'm using brown rice today. And because I'm using brown rice, I'm going to be using a few techniques that I'll be showing you if you want to try to use brown rice in this recipe. Otherwise, you can use white rice and just cook along. Cook the rice and the beans together. But I already pre-cooked the brown rice so it doesn't take us too long. And because Congri is typically, if you've gone to a Cuban restaurant, you see it's really black because of the black beans. So you need the cooking liquid from the beans. So this is what I have. I'm using canned beans actually because I did not cook these beans. So this is the liquid from the beans. The other thing that goes into it is some pepper. So these are red and green bell peppers. A little bit of cilantro, and then we'll be using some oregano, black and white pepper, and some cumin. Okay, the other thing we need is garlic. So in this case, I'm using a bubbly that we had gotten as a wedding favor, right? So I'm using the last of that here, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of coconut milk for my own twist because I find that when I cook it without the coconut milk, it takes a bit of getting used to. So coconut milk kind of makes it more palatable for me. Okay, the traditional recipe does not use coconut milk. This is just something that over time I found makes the rice sweeter. Okay, so now what am I going to be serving the congri with? I will be serving it with a Caribbean twist, right? This is salt fish. So what is salt fish? Salt fish is basically salted Atlantic cod. In Nigeria, we'll call it stockfish. This is a delicacy. When I say delicacy, I mean delicacy. So, typically, the salting was done to preserve the fish. So this thing can stay for years. This one I'm using, to give you an example, I have had since 2012, if you can believe that. This has moved houses with us because my sister bought a bale and she split it with me. So this is the very last of it. Anyway, so this is it, right? So this is salt fish that has been desalted and I've shredded it. This is what the pieces of it would look like. And this is me trying to be all fancy and clean because in my country you use every single damn bit of that fish. You will use it. Okay, so that's the salt fish, and it's just going to be made like a quick saute, right? Because traditionally you maybe might make this into fritters or into like a dough kind of thing, but I'm not doing that. It's 2020. We're trying to be a little bit healthier. And really in the next month we'll be going meatless. So this is my transition to going all the way meatless, right? So I'm doing fish. So what goes into the saltfish saute? A little bit of tomatoes, some onions, some garlic, a little bit of the pepper, and hot pepper. So this is habanero right here. Okay, and I'll be adding a little bit of bouillon cube and some thyme. Okay, so it's really simple. While the rice and beans are cooking, I will make the saltfish saute. Okay, so let's go. Okay, it's ready. See, this is like simple rice, beans, and fish, but with all of this exoticness added to it. Yes. So, did I tell you about saltfish or stockfish or bacala, depending on who you're talking to? I think the Italians call it bacala. This stuff smells. Yeah. And in order to make this dish, you have to kind of desalt the fish and let it soak in water for 3 days. So I am so happy that nobody came to visit me in the last 3 days. But then I found out something. In the process, that you can actually use the Instapot to do this quicker, and that kind of contains the smell. So in order to, drive out the smells, I used cinnamon. Cooking cinnamon over the fire, just simmering it over, takes away like unpleasant smells in the kitchen. That was another thing that I found out, over Christmas. So thank you, Safura. Okay, so that's it. It's ready. The thing about this is, I think because it's been dried to preservation perfection, this stuff is sweet. The saltfish, it is sweet. Like I said, it's a delicacy in my town or in my country, and typically when I was younger, what you do is you try and break off parts of it and then chew to eternity. That used to be like your delicacy or your treat. So the way that I cook this in order to get it to this state is you have to use a non-stick pot so that all the water can evaporate without the rice burning. If you try to use a non-stick pot, half of your rice is going to be at the bottom of the pot. Okay, so that's the way that I do this. And yeah, you just let the water evaporate and then let everything come together and add a little bit of cilantro at the end. And so that's it. So I really hope I get to see you in the kitchen next week. It's a new year, yeah. Again, the whole month of January is going to be a new year. We're just going to be counting down until we go meatless for the month of February, as it were. Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe to the kitchen, yes, for kitchen hacks, tips, and flavorful foods from around the world. So today you learned about my Instapot hack for cooking the smelly stockfish and the cinnamon hack for driving out smells from the kitchen. Okay, and today we combined two countries. Really, we went Caribbean, a little bit of Jamaican, and a little bit of Cuban. Okay, to give us this lovely meal here. So until next week, from my kitchen to yours, it's bon appetit, and I'll see you. Bye.